Let's see if this helps. Yeah, let's see if this helps the buffering scenario. Is this better? Is this better, everyone? Cool, man. Cool. We're good now. Right. Smooth. That's one of my favorite songs. You know, I love it. Nice. Nice. It looks like we're good now. I love an augmented chord. You guys, if you're not familiar with augmented chords, it's really kind of easy to look at. They build a lot of tension. Like that's what I was using right there. And you take your basic triad and you just raise your fifth, you know. So if we're in the key, we want to play like G augment, right? We're going to take the D's and move those up. Right? I love that sound, man. We'll get back to that Western swing thing in a minute, but it's a great, I love that right there. Builds so much tension in a great way, right? There it is. Here it comes again, augment. Right. This is Nessun Dorma. Made popular Pavarotti. Jeff Beck covered it on his Emotion Commotion record. It was fabulous. You know. And he drops it down. yeah, some cool stuff there. Using that augmented chord and kind of showing it off through some of that. Let's dig into some questions here real quick. Yeah, man. What am I using in front of the amp and in the loop? Okay. The amp I'm playing through, sorry. Doop. This one. Sir Bella. It's really good, man. I'm using nothing in the loop. Everything is out front. I have a Carl Martin compressor on right now and a Strymon timeline, and that's it. That's all I have on. And I think you got to have a great fundamental tone. Before you put anything else on. So yeah, a big part of my sound is just a really great amp, clean, you know. Yeah, and then in front of it I just have some pedals that I like. How am I setting my delay? It's a dual delay. I've got it set where it flutters back and forth, usually at 375 and 500, and it'll kind of flutter and create a almost a reverb. But it's not in the way if I play fast, you know what I mean? When I was kind of picking through some alternate pick lines in that, like it never loses it, you know. Yeah, who can name that one? Who can name that one right there? That's a good one. That's how I kind of like to test my delays, to see if they're too well. Yeah, no reverb on right now. That's the delay kind of faking out a reverb. I find that when you start piling on some reverb, you lose a little bit of articulation when you're kind of shredding down. If you have a lot of notes in any kind of way. Yeah, Steve Morris. Who's that? Saint Custom Carpentry. That's right. 10 points to Custom Carpentry. How do I compare the Carl Martin to the Barber? You know, I have a tone press. I'm kind of a compression snob and connoisseur. I like all things compression. The reason is you know, I mean, I grew up a redneck picker, picking on the Telecaster, and I always had, you know, a Dynacomp was my first pedal. I've had everything, man. I've had the Keeleys and the Barbers. I've still got a lot of them. I'm using the Carl Martin right now. I love the one that Wampler does is really nice. You know, the one that Sir does, the Koji, I love it because it's got something a lot of compressors don't have. It's like a little EQ on the top. You can make it bright. I think that's kind of cool because without having to set another preset or anything, you can have that bright jangly thing just on a switch, and I think that's really cool. In general, my attack is fast on any compressor pedal. I like that fast attack, but I like a fast attack, but I don't like the compression like way on. Right now, my compressor, my pedal, the compression is set at like 9 o'clock, like it's barely on. And it's because I want that touch sensitivity thing, right? So check it out. If I play light, but if I play hard, it doesn't squeeze it, is what I'm getting at, you know? But it still sounds great for chicken stuff. Let me get off that space delay. Get some slap back. It's really great for clucking around. This guitar, maybe we'll get that out in a little bit and kind of talk about it. Blend knob, yeah, blend knobs are cool. Carl Martin doesn't have one. I don't think it's mandatory to have a blend knob. I love them. I think Wampler's got it. The Koji's got it. I can definitely find some really cool sounds with it when I'm using one with a blend knob. But right now, the Carl Martin doesn't have a blend knob, and I think it sounds just fine, you know. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's needed, maybe it's not exactly mandatory, you know. I'm just going to adjust the output of one thing real quick. Give me a second. All right, got chat window back open. Cool. Yeah, these humbuckers are super low output. These are the Pete Thorne Thornbuckers, and they're just kind of like a really great PAF pickup. I mean, it's really I want a low output pickup so I can hear a lot of the wood, you know, in the guitar, and that's really important to me. I feel like when pickups get really hot, like there's this that pink guitar back there, man. That thing breathes fire. It's got the Aldrich pickups, so they're so hot. It's like it kind of always sounds the same. It's so freaking insanely hot. The pickups just always sound like a Tube Screamer's on or something. It's really nuts. But it's fun, and like anything else, it's a tool to get the job done. You guys like my new Yeti? Look at this thing. I got it because it matched my chair. You know, look at that thing. Isn't that cool? You got to stay hydrated in the lockdown. I mean, here I could be making music and content, and I just pass out because I hadn't hydrated enough. I'm not going to let that happen. Not going to let that happen on my watch. No, sir. Somebody's having fun. I like that. I'm having fun. What other delays do I like compared to the Timeline? You know, I think those little TC Electronics pedals, you might even see one laying on the floor back here. I really love those things. I think they're like $150, maybe $130. So the blue one, you know, hang on. Y'all see that right there? You see that one? That's fine. That's a fine delay pedal. I don't think you need to go out, and it's not mandatory to buy the Timeline to have great tone, but I'll tell you this, I sure do like it, man. That slapback right there is pretty nice. A little BB preamp on this kind of tone sounds good. That's kind of the tone that I'd use for like Ricky and Cal, you know. I need to learn that again. Maybe for the next stream I'll practice Ricky and Cal and get that thing. I don't even remember all the chord changes. I think it was something like that, right? I think that was Travis's lick that he used. Something like that. It's really cool kind of stuff. Welcome all those that are jumping in the stream here. We're kind of talking about licks and tips and tricks and Q&As and maybe I start naming this just the tip. Tips and tricks with Andy Wood, just the tip. Can I keep my teen rating if I have that? Is that okay? I feel like you put Wood in the title and just the tip. Maybe it's not teen anymore. I don't know. Teen. We need to maintain a family-friendly environment here. We're not going to run anybody off. This is the woodshed is welcome to all comers, and I appreciate all you guys jumping in here. Gosh, we got over 100 of us. Look at us have fun together on a Saturday evening. All right, let's hear another question. Are you offering online metal? Am I offering online lessons for old metal guys that loves blues and country? Yeah, man, I can help you out. You just shoot me an email at Andy@AndyWoodMusic. And I'll get you on the books, man. I don't know. Maybe we learn some old country, you know. That'd be good, you know. Get in some of that, man. Get in some Modesto. Country tapping? I mean, is that a thing? I mean, I guess I guess maybe John Island does that stuff. Oh, Roy, too soon. Too soon. I can't say that. Can't say that on the stream. Cheers to Melbourne. Have I ever used the Diamond compressor? If I'm not mistaken, the Diamond has a ton of knobs on it. And when I see something that's got more than, say, 7 knobs, I immediately it turns me off. I can't remember if the Diamond is that company or not. But somebody, and I thought it was Diamond, makes a compressor, and it's just got knobs everywhere, man. I remember some of those old Jekyll and Hyde Route 21s and all that stuff. They just had this like option paralysis. I'll tell you guys this is a funny story. Maybe it's not funny to you. It's funny to me. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of money, and my dad was a cop, and my granddad, who taught me how to play, he was a construction worker, and my mom worked the front desk. We didn't have a lot of money, and I remember finally when I got a first electric guitar, I had a Kentucky mandolin, and for those that don't know, Kentuckys are not the most expensive mandolins out there, but it's what I had, and that's what I learned to play on. That's what I played at fiddle contests and stuff, and finally got me a guitar. It was an American Telly, but in the 90s, I guess it's probably early 90s. I was a kid, and I was got a blue American Telly, and sometimes you can see it hanging on the wall. It's upstairs in the living room right now, but I got into gear and trying to save up. I was playing in theaters, Pigeon Forge and stuff, and man, I went to Knoxville for go to the music stores. Go to the music stores, sniff around, see if there's anything. And Mesa Boogie Mark IV, right? And I was like, oh man, this is the amp, Everybody has Boogie, like, Lukather used Boogie. If I'm not mistaken, in that old REH video, Luke was playing Boogie, and, Petrucci played Boogie, and all the cats that I was into had a Boogie. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get a Mark IV. That's what I need. And man, you got to understand one thing. Y'all got to understand, I had one other amp before that Mark IV, and it was a Beefy Bandit. So I went into that Mark IV, and I had no idea what I was doing. If y'all have ever spent any time with a Mark IV, they have got 4,000 switches and knobs and faders and EQs and all this stuff. And man, when I had it in the zone and I had everything just right to whatever settings, it sounded good. It did. It was a good sounding amp. But man, if one thing got flipped or turned the wrong way, oh, forget about it. So I love the Boogie stuff, and to this day, I still, if I'm doing a backline show and I've got to fly somewhere, like we had to fly down to Florida with Kennedy Wood, and for those that haven't checked out the Kennedy Wood band, go check that out. It's kind of a cool thing. Anyways, Kennedy Wood's playing a festival down in Florida, and I asked for Boogie Lone Stars. They always sound so good, always. They're very simple layout. They don't have a million switches or whatever. I ended up the Mark IV didn't last very long. And I ended up getting the diesel that's behind me. And the reason the diesel and the EVH makes sense to me is because it's like channel 1, and then here's gain, volume, bass, mids, treble. The end, right? Channel 2, gain, volume, bass, mids, treble. So it's like the same thing 3 times over, right? Dude, if you've ever looked at the front of a Mark IV, it just looks like you're about to fly a spaceship. There's stuff everywhere, and it was too much for me. A lot of times, I mean, like here I am, ironically, I'm playing through a amp that's got, let's see how many knobs that thing's got. It's got 4 knobs, folks. The Bella has 4 knobs, one of which is volume. It doesn't even have mids on it. It's just like, it's meant to sound good all the time. So yeah, and I think it does. I think that sounds lovely. I think it's a great tone, and with overdrive, I think it sounds really good too. I think it rocks for all that stuff. It sounds real clean. Yeah, so, some cool stuff for that. Good tones. Yeah, somebody's down here is a big Fryet fan. If you look right here, this is the Fryet power amp for the Synergy stuff. I think that Synergy stuff's cool. Maybe on another stream we crack that open and I'll take a listen to it together and see how we can get it to sound. I think that stuff's really cool. I've got the Soldano module and the Bassman modules, and if I could unplug and do it really quick, I would, but it takes me a little bit longer to get my rigs kind of jumping back and forth. All right, let's take another question. Yeah. In the house again, yes. Approaching chord changes without just sounding like I'm playing a lick and then another lick. Yeah, man, that's hard, ain't it? I don't really know. Let me think about that. So my man here is asking, it looks like Justin's asking, when I'm focusing on intervals and I'm improvising, how do I approach the chord changes without sounding like I'm just playing a lick and then another lick, right? And if I'm not mistaken, I think this is kind of what you're after right here. Let's say we're playing an A, and we have a like a blues kind of thing. Just give a light kind of overdrive here. The way that maybe I'd approach everything is kind of aiming at thirds. So that means that when I'm playing over a blues like a... And I could play all day long over that pentatonic area. Simple stuff. Like I want to try to get this to you where you can digest it, Playing all day over that pentatonic, doing all your favorite licks. And then when it's time to go to D, I'm going to aim. If you look, when I look at the D chord, I'm going to aim at the third of D. Right? I used to diminish there. So it was playing over A, 2, 3, 4, A, 2, and then on the last couple of beats of that A, I used the diminish. And that tells us when I landed on that F sharp, that's target note for D, right? Kind of tells the listener everything you need to know. Third of A. Third of E. And then you could do it again, D. So just aiming at thirds can kind of help you navigate some changes without sounding like contrived, maybe, It's like to where you're not doing this. So that just sounded like I played an A, and then I just told my mind, okay, stop, and now reset and play in D. It didn't sound bad. It just sounded kind of stock. You know what I mean? That's the term that I use, is stock. I like stock licks. I like things that are iconic to genres. You know what I mean? If I don't hear a blues guy play, if I don't hear that blues guy play that lick, I'm not interested. Like there are stock things that I want to hear. Make the genre happen, right? It's like going to a bluegrass jam and not hearing, like if I don't hear that at a bluegrass jam, those are stock licks to me, but they're so important. Like they're like language. Like that's like speaking with the correct accent and not just learning words in another language. So sorry to kind of deviate the topic a little bit, but to prevent that kind of stock sound all the time is just aim at the third of the chord you're going to. And then when you land on that third, it lets the listener know that you kind of know where you're at. Great question, though. Gosh, that's a whole episode of the Woodshed that I need to get into. Any guitarist I'm enjoying listening to these days? Yeah, man. I enjoy Derek Trucks, and I've been listening to a lot of Free. I listened to all of the second Free record yesterday. You guys like Free? I think everybody remembers them from I think everybody remembers that. But with that said, man, go get into some Free records. Those things rock. I really love Derek Trucks and Faux Slide and that kind of thing that he's got going on. I'm gonna switch guitars while I'm telling you the story. Maybe we'll play a song together. I really love that thing of Southern rock and not jam bands, but maybe kind of getting on the verge of jam bands. Listen to a lot of Susan Tedeschi. Listen to a lot of John Prine. John Prine just died. I listen to a lot of Jason Isbell. I think Jason's fabulous. As far as specific, those are all guitar players, but I think it's not the answer you're looking for, right? I think you're looking for, like, who's your favorite shred guy? And my favorite shred guys right now, man, I like Andre Neary. I think that guy's fun, man. I like Daniela. He's a shred guy from Italy. I'm going to mispronounce his last name. Daniela, if you see this, I'm sorry. Daniela Gottardo. As far as shred guys, he kind of has his own thing. He sounds like himself, you know, and for me, that's the most important thing. Do you guys ever feel, this is a question for everyone, you guys ever feel like you see a great guitar player and you're just like, geez, man, that guy's so good. And then 15 minutes later, you're thinking about it and you're like, you can't remember what they sound like. That happens to me all the time, man. I'm looking through Instagram. I'm just like, holy cow, that guy's good. And then 20 minutes later, I try and remember what he sounds like. And I'm just like, well, that's a bummer. I guess he's really great player, and I don't remember it. Kind of forgettable, you know? And I feel like there's a lot of that going on. And that's why I give props to Andre and Danielle. Daniela, I love guys that have got their own thing going on. My strings get real dirty in the saddles, and I kind of have to move them back in place. Let's get this telly going. Yeah, who do you guys like? You know, who you guys listen to these days? I listen to so much slide players and country music, and I've been listening to this Ronnie Dunn record. It's called Redone. I love that thing. Ronnie Dunn's the singer from Brooks and Dunn. And if you're looking for great Telecaster things, you know, Brooks and Dunn's got it. You know, all those kind of isms that Brent did. You know, the Neon Moon stuff. But there was one lick he had in there. Some kind of lick like that. I have to go back and dig it up and find out which song it's on, but it's one of those old Brooks and Dunn records. Anyways, I listen to the Redone record a lot. I listen to Bob Seger. But I've been listening to a lot of Derek Trucks, and I'm into that, man. I'm into what he's doing, you know. Kind of get a slap back here going on. Kind of getting into that, you know, trying to sound like that. So yeah, those are kind of my favorite guitar players. Let's try to play a song. Man, I'm going to try to play a song. We got Davey says he can handle about 10 minutes of slide playing a month. That's a shame, Davey. I hate that, man. I hate that for you. Yeah, Ian Thornley and Marcus King and Derek Trucks, I could listen to them all day long. Yeah, Tommy Bukovac, man, Book's great. I've really been enjoying Book's his little conversations with the audience. I think he's a fun guy to watch. He seems to really love rock and roll a lot, and I think that's cool. Slide and whammy don't do it for you. That's axe addiction. Yeah, man, cool, man. I got a buddy that says that's why they make red shirts and why they make blue shirts. You know, if you don't like something, man, you don't have to listen to it. But boy, I love it. I love the slide stuff. Man, I wish I knew when the pedal was coming out. It's the number one question I get, guys. I am so sorry. I don't know the answer. COVID has kind of put some stop on some manufacturing items, and I wish I had the answer to that, and maybe I can talk to Brian and get a different thing. But as of right now, man, I just don't know. Joey Landreth, absolutely. I love Joey. I love his playing. I love what he does. I love everything about that guy. Let's try to play one. Man, I'm talking about this kind of southern rock thing. I'm gonna try one that I hadn't played in a while. It's called Flooded Mine. Let's see if I can play it. I hadn't tried this. I'm going to mess it up. Let me just check a couple licks. That's a weird lick. That's the one I always forget, man. Yeah, and I got to remember that too. Yeah, I have to double check my stuff. I haven't played these songs in forever. Let's go. Let's see if we can do some Flood of Mine. Try it again. Listeners. Yeah. That's silly good fun, right? The fun thing about my tunes is I get to jam. There's all these big chord sections where I get to jam forever. What I don't like about my tunes when I'm playing the backing tracks is I have no idea where that jam's going to end because we just did it live in the studio, you know. Well, it's good fun. Let's see. Love them chords. Yeah, cool. Gear envy right now. Yeah. Can I play Brent Mason's Hotwired? Yeah, I used to be able to. I don't know how much of it I remember. I remember that's the intro. Let's see. Get the cleaner tone here. Something like that. Yeah, it's been a minute. I think another lick in there is really cool. I don't remember that lick, but yeah, I used to have that thing on. I remember another good one in it was. Something like that. At one point in my life, I had it note for note, and it was something I could just do. But man, I don't play that stuff every day. I just learn it and forget it, and I try to work on my own stuff these days most of the time. I love the slide, but that doesn't say much. So many different styles and sounds. Johnny Winter, Sonny Landreth, Derek Trucks. Oh man, yeah, it's so great, man. I love it. Lots of space in my tunes. Yeah, I try not to. I'm not really into the instrumental music where it's just like a backing track and it doesn't sound like there's parts. It just sounds like it's just constant licks over something, right? I try to write hooks. Sometimes I feel like I get it right, and sometimes I don't. But I feel like when I'm thinking of hooks and instrumental things, like to me a hook is. Something memorable, right? Like Smoke Wagon's got a thing to it. It's got like a melody, and a head, and it's something you can sink your teeth into. Let's see what else we got. Maybe we play that. Yeah, maybe we could play that. I don't really remember it, but let's try it. Yeah, this is Travis Toy on the steel. Love it, man. Cool, man. All right. Yeah, some Smoke Wagon. Good thing you're playing indoors, or else I would be getting swarmed by what? Horny mobs of women. Holy cow, Steve. Can you say that on the internet? Danny Gatton. Yeah, I love Danny. Plays some cool stuff, man. Big fan. I love the way EJ pulls in all kinds different influences. Yeah, I'm a big EJ fan. Maybe we do that one. We'll play one more before we bail out. Really love you guys being here, man. Knock back a couple more questions. Wow, I changed guitars. Something is that was an awesome steel player. Maybe see if I listen to outside. What music do I listen to outside of guitar and mandolin and fiddle that inspires me? Okay. Man, singers and songwriters. I love songs. I love good songs. Led Zeppelin has great songs. Allman Brothers have like great songs. Jason Isbell. I really am into singers, man. You know, that's super important. A great melody. That's everything to me. This is one of my favorite melodies right here. This right here. That C is so good to me. navigating those kind of melodies, man. I like that stuff. Yeah, so let's hit another question. Kind of get lost in my picking sometimes and just have fun, you know. Do I ever listen to Black Hawk? Yeah, man, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Dan Huff played on some of those Black Hawk records, and they're cool. Seeing Triad Shapes and then seeing Triad Shapes is definitely how I'm kind of navigating this stuff. Yeah. Zeppelin, Almonds, Isbell, that's all the stuff I kind of listen to. Not unlike All Things Must Pass, yeah. It should be on the next record. Man, I was just making it up. I don't even know what I was playing. Just playing a, kind of Allman Brothers melodies, you know. To kind of discuss how I met Ben Eller. Yeah, man. Ben and I lived within about an hour and a half of each other and, you know, knew each other from Harmony Central. And one day his band Arc was playing with my band Down From Up years ago. And we met and shook hands. Hey, cool. Kind of didn't ever come back around, you know, till several years later. And he reached out to me, and I forget who reached out to who, but we got together just to hang out and talk picking and stuff. And then I needed another guitar player to do some shows, including the Live at the Bijou stuff. So Ben jumped in and played guitar there. And then from there, we just started playing. He started playing bass. We started playing together and working together all the time. So, yeah. It was absolutely, you know, organic, you know. So I'm looking at the chat right now. Edward, thanks, man. I don't even know what I was doing. I was just kind of having some fun. Michael, you need an amp? Yeah, man. Great pedal platform. Just get a Cerbella and put some pedals on it. There you go. Done. Easy. Ben's great. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about him. Man, what a good time. Been at it almost an hour or so. I'm probably going to take a break here. Any video gamers in the chat? Any of you guys play video games? Do I listen to pedal steel players? Yeah, absolutely. I love pedal steel players. Sound great. Can I play the red and black guitar on the wall? I don't know which one you're talking about. The pink and black one? It's actually tuned a half step down. I'll tell you what we'll do. This will be really cool. Is maybe on my next stream, I plug up maybe that diesel. You know, if you guys would like to hear that thing, and I get that 80s guitar down, we can do some shredding. I think that sounds fun. Yeah, you got Call of Duty, cool. I'm a big Destiny player. I'm a huge Destiny player. I love Destiny. So yeah, I mean that's video game. You know, another good one that I've been playing lately is Samurai Showdown. It's kind of cool. I grew up, you know, in the bowling alleys and arcades and stuff as a kid, and I remember those Neo Geo cabinets. Remember Neo Geo cabinets? They had 2 or 3 games in one cabinet, and there was a game called Samurai Showdown. They just made a new remake of Samurai Showdown, and I've been playing that. That's fun. I like that one. But yeah, Destiny is really what I'm into. I play a lot of Destiny, so I'm probably gonna get off here in a little bit and like knock back some of that. What do I think about the Lex pedal from Strymon for the Leslie? Honestly, I've not played it. I don't know. I wish I had a better idea to tell you. I love this chat though, man. It kind of makes me. You know what this does? This is fun for me because I'll be honest, guys. I've been going crazy. Like I've been going crazy in the house and not being able to play for people, and I feel like most of the time I'm just kind of sitting around noodling, and it's nice to get on here and finally have a chat and an audio that I think is worthy of your time. I'm hitting a lot of mistakes and hitting a lot of clams, but as far as the tone and stuff, I feel like this tone is worth your time to be here. Would I show you one of my favorite Brent Mason licks? Absolutely. We'll talk Brent Mason all day long. We'll go there. I'm gonna show you my favorite one. One of my favorite ones. That's it, man. That's the thing right there. So the Brent will start a bunch of triads, like with this sequence thing. In the Pick It Apart solo. that nasty? What's the lick? That's it. Let's try it one more time. Let's see if I can do it. I remember I'm pulling this from memory. There it is. Yeah. The next part was maybe. I don't remember the rest of it. That's it. I don't remember the rest of it. I have to go back and learn it. I don't know it. But anyways, my favorite Brent Mason lick is the way he ascends those arpeggios. So here we go. So here you go. It's root. So 1 3 5, 1 3 5 7, and then 3 5 7 2 or 9. And you can keep walking it up, which is cool. That's a bit. You can just keep sequencing it. It's kind of a right-hand nightmare, which is why I like it. I think that's kind of cool that it's all kind of sequenced out. Yeah, that's maybe one of my favorite. And I think one of the most used Brent Mason licks is that I use all the time is. I use that all the time. Songs like Shred Neck. Right there, it's like written into the melody, you know? There it is again, you know? So, yeah, obviously that Brent Mason stuff is in there all the time. I like to write that stuff into my tunes, you know? So yeah, that's some. Maybe we'll play some Shred Neck at some point. How would I determine what mode a chord progression is? Man, listening. You know, what's the third? What's the fifth? What's the seventh? Can I hear all those intervals? And what's the chord tones? The chord will tell you what's in it. Like if you see C sharp 11, it literally tells you it's C, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 1, 9. So immediately all your 2 turns to 9, all your 4 turns to 11, all your 6s turns to 13s. So we see C with a sharp 11, it tells you what the answer is, right? It tells you that it's C. Here's 4, so that's 11. It's going to be sharp 11. So C sharp 11 is that Simpsons thing, you know? Yeah, it's cool. That's also like the Satriani thing. A lot of that is in there. So the sharp 11 thing, any chord symbol you see, it kind of tells you the answer right next to it. I think as guitar players, we get intimidated by that. We start seeing all this algebra next to a chord, and it starts freaking us out. To me, it's just like you just kind of just take things a piece at a time, just a little nibble at a time, and don't get overwhelmed, you know. If I could choose, it's possible, a day of playing with Brent, or if I could choose a day of playing with Brent Mason or Danny Gatton, it's Brent all day long. Brent's my all-time favorite guitar player. Danny Gatton's amazing. I wish he was still with us on this earth. He's an incredible player. But, yeah, man, it's got to be Brent. I mean, I have forgotten more Brent Mason solos than I think any man should have spent time learning. If you go back and watch that Joe Diffie episode, man, that's all Brent. And I learned all of the Hotwired stuff. I learned Sugarfoot Rag like he played it. And I learned the Pick It Apart. I learned the... there was a great lick. There was I love that lick. Yeah, so it was definitely Brent, man. I love Brent, and I would choose him. Jerry Donahue's great. Yeah, I love all the stuff he did. Roy Buchanan, amazing. You guys are like naming all the dudes. All these guys are 100 times better than me. Lydian, yeah, man. The Lydian thing, that's it. So the thing is when you guys are like, let's just take a second. My microphone's jumping off my stand. Everybody calm down. One of the things I think happens to us as guitar players, give me just a second, is stay with me, is we get intimidated by terms like Lydian, Mixolydian, Superlocrian, Phrygian dominant, and it turns into like, I don't know my modes, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, just take all that out the window and just be like, what is the chord? What notes are in that chord? And let that tell you what's up. So if it's Lydian, you know, that means you've got a raised fourth. It tells you that, right? That would be used over a sharp 11 chord, right? Well, if it's Lydian dominant, that means now you've got dominant tells you it's a 7. So it's this sound. Oh, man. Nuts. So, yeah, that's how I think of it. You know, I mean, I'm trying to think on an intervallic standpoint. That way I don't get swamped by terminology, right? Getting overwhelmed by definitions and terminology. It makes it not functional for me, and I just like to hear a chord and be like, yo, what is Hummingbird by Wrestle? Sorry, yeah. I like to hear a chord and just be able to play the things that are over top of it. That's all I'm going to finish. And the guy asked for Hummingbird. I think it was this. Yeah, trying to get that Albert Lee tone, you have to kind of mute a little bit more. That kind of thing. Yeah, I love Albert. I love what he did. Yeah, Hummingbird, man. Props to you. Let's play one more song, kind of call it a day for now. Jazz influences, Benson. Benson's my guy. He always had George always had more sass in his playing, and I love that about him. So yeah, it's George for me when it comes to the jazz thing. What's the story of Chelmsford? Yeah, it's just a tribute to Guthrie Govan. Yeah, huge Guthrie fan. So when I wrote the section of music, it just was obviously that was Guthrie's influence sneaking into my playing. You know, I haven't played that tune in 10 years. You know. So yeah, it does sound like a delay when you're doing the Albert Lee thing, when you really got it. And it's actually not a delay. If it's dry, it still sounds the same. Yeah, it's actually not a delay, and it sounds like it, which is really cool. I think that's super, super cool. How do I manage getting the Stevie Ray sound on 9-gauge? Man, I don't really get obsessed with what somebody else used, right, to get their tone. I don't let that bother me. I try to get the sound that I like with what I like. And for me, I like the way 9s sound on the low strings. I prefer playing a heavier gauge string, but I like the way 9s sound. So, I mean, it's just different. I mean, the last guitar that Stevie would play would be a Tele. You know, it's not his thing. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm the guy to ask for that. Maybe Seth Rosenblum would be the guy for ask. Slept on all country until Guthrie. Yeah, man, that's the thing, right? All right, let's play one more. Oh, let's see. I don't know, man. Forgotten Secrets. You guys want to hear that? You guys want to hear Forgotten Secrets? Is that cool? Is that cool one to end on? I'm just gonna go with yes. Forgotten Secrets, and we're gonna go with that. Love you guys, man. Love all y'all. play that since that's already in the backtrack, right? I'm used to playing in a trio, and in a trio, I always played that part. Right. Yeah, man. Cool. Tracks are still going. Yeah, cool. It's funny, man. That's one of those solos that I play a little bit close to the record more than any other solo. I just thought that was one that I kind of got right. It's funny, I came into it on this, the live streaming thing. You don't get any do-overs, So you hit a clam, it's like everybody sees it. But I always play that solo a little close to the record. A lot of the other songs like Truth in Line, Back to Austin, and Beyond the Reef and all those tunes, when they get on the outros, I just end up having fun and just jamming. I feel like I'm gonna play one more for you. Is that cool if we do one more? Not really trying to make these like concerts or anything, but I think it's cool to enjoy some tunes, especially now that I've got the ability. Let's do one more. Let's do Beyond the Reef. I think that's fun, man. Love you guys. Last one. Swear it's gonna be the last one. that's a fun tune. That's a fun one. That was inspired by one of my video games that I love, Destiny. There's a moment in the game where you have to go to this place called the Dreaming City. You know, Beyond the Reef is the name of the tune, and like the Tangled Shore and the Reef, you got to go beyond that to get to the city. And there's this whole raid and stuff. But I use that as like inspiration to write that tune. So yeah. You made the Guthrie Govan influence your own. Yeah, thanks, man. I don't know about all that. Yeah, I just try to use all my favorite different players and make my own gumbo. I see everybody out there is like naming all the dudes that I like, man. Timmons, Tim Pierce, Gatton, Satriani, Frank Gambale. Yeah, man. It's incredible. It never ends, right? Like all the love for great players. So yeah, why don't you guys let me know what kind of content you'd like to see? Be sure to jump over to Instagram and keep up with me over there. I will be doing Patreon questions and answers over there. Let me know what you'd like to see for the woodshed and episodes going forward. I'm always looking for ideas and inspiration to put that content together for you guys. If you feel like, taking any kind of support towards me in the matter of if you're wanting backing tracks, right? Or if you're wanting Axe Effects presets, additional video content, like stuff like when I make the woodshed episodes, I have stuff left over, and I've been putting that stuff on Patreon. And if any of you guys feel like, jumping over to Patreon, there's a lot of different tiers that you can help out. And in turn, I give you exclusive content that only comes to Patreon members. So if you feel like jumping on, throwing some beer money at me over there, then that's cool. I'll try to make special videos, talk about topics that you guys want. And also you get access to, like I said, some more exclusive content, including my presets and things like that. I appreciate every one of you guys. Man, we had over 100 streamers all at the same time with no runway, no advertisement. And, geez, that's great, man. That's really, really great. I love you guys so much. Appreciate all of the support and hanging out with us here. And I hope everyone has a very safe and lovely evening, a Saturday evening as you're going into it. I'm on the East Coast, and I hope everyone that's a little bit earlier in the day out there on the West Coast is, you're going to have a good evening, sit back and kick it with the fam, and everybody be safe. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's number one. We're all locked in our houses, and I'm using that as a way to get better at doing this kind of stuff for you guys and creating some virtual hangs and some cool hanging out in my studio with me kind of vibe. So I appreciate you guys so much. And we'll see you next time. Look for Woodshed next week. And like I said, jump on those social medias. Keep up with me. Xbox players, shoot me your favorite games. I'm looking for new stuff. I think the next thing I'm going to get is that Jedi game, The Fallen Order. That looks really cool. I'm going to try that out. So much love to y'all. Crispy high fives. Honk if you love country music. Talk soon.